Hi there folks, welcome. Welcome indeed, welcome. Yeah, another day in the pottery. I'm just trying to get a few things done. As you know, I was we were processing this cornfield dirt, weren't we? And with some degree of success. The only thing is now I need to do it in bigger quantity. So I've down in here I've got some which I've stirred up with my stirrer there, and now what I'm doing is, of course, I am just putting this in here. I guess one of my pet hates is having to screen or sieve glaze and such, so I had to come up with a better way of doing it. So actually I may need a this will push it through the sieve somewhat quicker. Sometimes I have another hand free to hold another tool in there at the same time, but today I'm holding the camera, so I can't do that. But if you can imagine using both hands, and in, say, the other hand having a credit card or something like that to sort of push it through the sieve. I find these actually are really good for getting stuff through sieves. So just by holding it there, you see, like that, it will bearing in mind that this is a kind of slip. There's quite a lot of clay in this, as well as sticks and other bits and pieces and larger particle sizes of small stones, etc. But by and large it's pretty, for something that's just coming straight out of the field. It's kind of quite, in fact I was tempted just to dip the pot in it as it is and not even bother to screen it and just let be what is, you know, in terms of, who knows, I may even do that. Anyway, I'm just doing that right now. Just show you that pot again, that and to show you what this, just turn that off. So this, what you're seeing there, will turn into this at cone 10, and the next time I shall make it perhaps a little bit hotter, just a wee bit hotter. So yeah, it's good to try out these things, isn't it? I think of processed food, and then I think, you know, we've got to get away from all this processed food, and we've got to get away from processed glaze materials and clays. We've got to get back to nature, haven't we? Yes! Now you're talking, he says. So yeah, here I could use something like this, you see. Make sure it's on centre if you do this. Yeah, I was thinking, like when my granddad came back from Japan with Shoji Hamada in 1920. There were no clays really, you know, and glazed materials that they could go out and purchase like we can at our local clay supplier, where everything is cleaned and purified and refined, and everything is labelled and in these bins, etc. There was none of that. They had to go out into. They had to have a basic understanding of clays, and a basic understanding of glazes, and a basic understanding of how to fire them, you see. And they went out looking, in the countryside, and they went out and they found, initially they found, because in Cornwall, England, there were a lot of tin mines, so the tin miners would go down into the tin mines with a candle on the front of their helmet, you see, and it was held in place with candle clay. So they started there, you see. They quickly found that that really wasn't going to be suitable. So anyway, I just want to encourage you all out there to try to sort of think in a new way about pottery, because so much of the beauty of pottery is in discovering things like this, you see. Now, I got lucky with this, because this turned into a rather nice khaki brown glaze just on its own, without me having to add anything to it. Now, that doesn't always happen. I've got another clay down here to show you, actually. I've shown you this many moons ago, but I'll down in which bucket is it? It's in that red bucket, isn't it? It's in this one. You see, I went out looking for some clay. Now this is, you can see that it's a nice yellow ochre colour, but you can see how that is like almost pure clay, isn't it? Well, I did get it actually from a disused clay pit. So I took it and processed it in the same way as I did this glaze, and we made a little piece out of it, a little pot, which I'm going to show you, which was this. And I was fully expecting, you see this little cylinder? Well, yeah, I just licked it. Just to show the colour there a bit better, because it was dusty. But that little cylinder proved to be made out of clay that was refractory enough. You see, that sometimes is the thing about finding clays. Are they going to be refractory enough for your needs? In other words, are they going to be able to withstand like a stoneware temperature without melting down? Because a lot of earthenware clays, you see, won't stand cone 10 at all. They'll melt. But they could be used as a glaze, on the other hand. So if you're looking for a clay body that is going to be refractory enough, you may have to do a bit of searching, and you may not. Well, I struck lucky with this, again. I just, this actually came from a clay pit where they had, it had been 50 odd years ago used in the cosmetics industry, but this is laden with yellow iron oxide, you see. So anyway, I just want to encourage you to go out and dig in your yard. Okay, go and dig in your yard and see what you can find, and you may be surprised. You may be, if you're somebody who's firing up at stoneware temperature, cone 10 is better for this, but you may find that you're sitting on a really nice glaze, you see. Now it may be, and part of the beauty of this, I think, is the impurities that are in the clay, you see, give the clay or give the glaze its character. And that's the important thing, you see. It makes it kind of unique, doesn't it? It's not a generic refined product like bleached white salt, table salt, or bleached white sugar or something like that. This is, you're getting more close to the molasses the molasses of the situation. In other words, of course molasses is the stuff they take away from the sugar, isn't it? All the impurities, really. And so have a go, for goodness sake. Just if you see something, sometimes, you know, I'm driving along in a car and something that gets my attention at the side of the road, you know, like a face that has been excavated or something. There may be some particular colour of that soil that catches my eye, and I think to myself, oh, I wonder what, travelling and everything becomes much more interesting suddenly, doesn't it? Because we are travelling out there in nature, and we've got all of these raw materials that basically are generic glaze and clay products that we buy at the store, at the pottery shop, whatever, our local supplier. They've taken out all of the, they've made it all very, they turned the whole thing into like a chemical formula experience, where you've got to, I don't know much about, I'll be honest with you, I don't know much about glazes particularly. There are people out there who know far more than I do, and I'm rather take a bit of this and a bit of that and experiment, see what it does, mix it together, do some tests, that's the fun side, you see, I think, of pottery, doing all that. Now, it's okay, there's nothing wrong in knowing how to work out glaze recipes and all that kind of thing, and it's helpful to know. But I'm just saying, if you don't know, don't worry. You can use the rule of thumb method, which works pretty well, and it's how a lot of these people, in the ancient Orient, in Japan, China, Korea, they didn't really know and understand all the chemical formulas that but they knew that if they did this and they did that and they added a little bit of that, that would work. That's all they needed to know, you see. It's very, very basic. So I'm trying to get back a little bit into, you see, one of the things I'm wanting to do, if I can, is stop bisque firing everything and do more raw glazing like this. Cut out that step, you see, of bisque firing, which is a nuisance, and it's an interruption in the process. Okay, bisque firing is nothing more than an interruption in the process. You lose the initial inspiration that you had when you started throwing and you went to the wheel. You lose it because you can't finish the pot. It's got to be dried out, bisque fired, and then you come back to it 3 or 4 weeks later, or 2 weeks later, or a week later, whenever it is, and you have to pick up the threads again, don't you? And try to find that lost inspiration that you once had when you started the project. You see, when you started making that run of pots. So it's much better to be able to make pots, handle them, decorate them, glaze them, all in one operation pretty much, and then dry them out, and then fire them, and that's it, you see. It's done. Hey, good to talk with you folks. Thanks for joining us. Hope this has been inspirational to you in some way. And go to my website, simonleachpottery.com. I have potter's wheels for sale. Pottery tools. We're adding more pots up there now on our Etsy shop, and hopefully I'm going to be adding some new designs and some new glazes. Hey, we keep practicing. I'll see you soon. Bye bye. Yeah.